You're ready to start here.
Great. So, my name is Sinai. I am into recruitment. I'm currently heading a project for one of my clients, currently based out of Surat in Gujarat. Though I have a travel which is basically between Bombay, Pune, and Surat. So that's what it is. Uh, I belong to a Christian family. Um, yeah, I think, and that's about me. Whenever I get time or something, maybe I do contribute in my church, and been in touch with pastor since before he became a pastor is how I would put it. Okay, so that's about me. Uh, so pastor spoke to me about this topic of change in particular. So there were two, three things last week. Proud moment for me. My brother was also speaking on this particular topic at the same place. Um, so yes, so one of the most important aspect of change is the end of it, and which I believe is, as Lionel picked up, is transformation. So transformation is a process. Change is also a process. It's never a destination. Now, when we go through it, or when we are going through it, how do we do, what do we do? And so in the management terms, it's not just change management, but it's the management of change as well, is what one has to look at. So it's not just that you change and then it's done. No, it's also the management of change that happens. So how does one look at it, and how does one do? The how plan should be very clear. Now, I like to just walk you through to a conversation between two friends that happened, and it was a we've just been through the through Christmas, and it was a basic conversation about the birth of Christ and how did it happen, and the it was between one Christian guy and the other was a non-Christian, and maybe we can just try and take some cues from it about how Christ managed the change, and according to me, I think Christ was the best change agent that we can look up to, because he had a rippling effect in the society. We can take cues from how he handled the political scenario during that time. How did he handle the religious sentiments and also the religious authorities at the same time? And how he was a breath of fresh air, the way most of the preachers also put it. So, how did he really do that, and what did he do? So, when we look at the character of Christ, what we what we what we genuinely see is that he completely changed the definitions of what we really look at. The definition of kingdom was completely changed. Kingdom was meant something else for many people. Napoleon Bonaparte had very famously stated a quote, if I'm not wrong, if my knowledge recollects correctly, is that the kingdom of heart was never spoken by anyone. What he meant was that the kingdom of heart was something that no king spoke of, but it was only Christ who came and who who became a king without fighting any war as such. But he won the hearts of people, and he was in the heart of so many people. So the definitions of the kingdom, the king really changed, because so the question which the non-Christian asked was that, when we look at Christmas, we celebrate with so much of pomp and show, and how does it happen? And then he narrated that when Christ was born, he was born a king, but he didn't really even have a place, let alone the heart. It was not even in the world that he had a place to be born. So, in Hindi we say, "Dil ka mamla to bada dur tha." so, so it was like that. But then he still came into this world, and he won the hearts of so many. And he knew how to establish the kingdom. So the definition of kingdom definitely changed. The definition of king also changed. So these were two, three things which happened. Now, when the definition of king changed, what happened essentially is that the people were misunderstanding. They did not know how to react. And that happens in today's world as well. See, when we talk about transformation, or when we talk about conversion, which is typically and essentially a Christian phenomenon, people really don't understand what is really conversion, because for most of them it's like a threat to the nation, it's a threat to the society, and it's a threat to so many things that happens. So that's. Am I audible?
Yeah, I think the audio is dropping at some places. Don't you think? Others?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Continue, continue.
Okay. So, so maybe we can look at the we can take cues from Christ and understand that how we can do that, how that is being done. The other important aspect was that how free did he communicate with the downtrodden. I see most often than not so many Christians, including us at times, we are so judgmental about people who are as language, people who have sinned, for example. Uh, Christ was so immaculate. I mean, it's difficult to fathom. How could he rescue an adulterous woman in front of the Jewish authorities? It was
Can you
very, very difficult.
hold the mic close to your mouth and speak the?
Is it
Yeah,
is it
now it's
audible now?
now it's great. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, better. So what I was trying to say is that when we look at the character of Christ in reference with he dealing with an adulterous woman, rescuing some adulterous woman from the Jewish authorities, it was something really, really difficult to do at that point in time. But he did not shy away. He talking to the Samaritan woman and asking for water from her was really groundbreaking. It broke the norms, the normal societal norms of those days. How I mean, if we have to challenge ourselves, how effectively can we do that? If somebody asks us, I know some of the Christians who feel shy to even drink water at somebody who's poor. We are yet not there. We don't even shake hands uh, after the church with whom we don't like, someone we don't like. So many things are there. So change in itself is very difficult when we are so rigid and stubborn in our own heart. Christ broke all the norms. He spoke to the Samaritan woman on the well. He rescued someone who was into adultery, and she went and she did not sin again. And apart from that, he also, I mean, the healing miracle of the lady who was bleeding. Uh, Women in those days were actually not really looked up to, and they did not have a respectable place in the society. But Christ really went on and spoke to the downtrodden, spoke to women, and changed the societal norms. Are we ready and equipped enough to do that? Is the question that we all need to answer probably at this point in time. Another aspect of Christ which I would want to touch base here is his ability to confidently speak the truth, and his life which he really led with integrity. So it's said that the most difficult task for a leader is to live a life of integrity, because it's a choice between what is convenient, and it's a choice between what is convenient and what has to be done or what needs to be done. It's not necessarily that what needs to be done is going to be easy. Uh, but Christ really led his life with integrity, and that's what matters. If we have to change, we need to make a choice. The choice of living a life of integrity, about standing up to who we are, understanding our identity, defining what it is, and then living by it. And that's a tough call, not an easy one. But then maybe, if you look at a quote from the Bible is his ability to be a leader while becoming a servant. In the olden times, or in today's world as well, when we look at uh, when we look at being a leader, most of the people are uh, want to be in the forefront. It has happened by me as well at times, because we really don't know what leading means. Leading generally means that coming in the forefront and trying to be the boss, but being the boss never works. It's always about how a leader actually is, and you have to go down. So I was watching a podcast, and the podcast mentioned that if you have to go up, you have to start low. That's the key. You start low. You know what is at the ground. You know what are the problems of the ground. Start completely low, and then you move slow and steady upwards. Um, so that's so that's an important aspect of change as well, because these definitions were never given to anyone before. People didn't live by those codes. Uh, a Messiah was never expected to come on a donkey, you know. Those things were not there, and nobody ever imagined that way. But Christ really took the world by the storm and equipped us to do the same as well. Today, there are many things. Today, I think I'm surprised with certain aspects where we really are so timid in certain things. About uh, how do we really look at challenges? How do we really look at tough times that are there today? We know that there are certain political scenarios which are happening, which are difficult for us to handle. But that's fine. Those are always going to be there. Uh, you know. But how do we really navigate through this and still shine in this dark world? I think that's the most integral part of change, is what I believe. So the world is going to get it's going to get more and more difficult, the way we see it, and everybody knows about that. But I think it's time for us. It's an opportunity for us, I think, to look at that in a very different way, and what difference can we make in this dark world is something what matters to most of us, because that's what Christ did. And the end of change is what I would want to bring you all to, is transformation. I think the transformation only happens, and it's predominantly, which I've observed, is a Christian phenomenon. Transformation is essentially a Christian phenomenon. I we don't see it much in, most often than not, in any of the other faiths or whatever you call it. But how does that happen? That happens only within the heart, and that's where the kingdom is. So if you really look at accepting Christ and then moving things and then trying to change and then taking it through with the process, I think slow and steady the transformation happens, and that's what brings light to the entire world. There was a very famous quote which was given by, I think, W.T. Ellis, which mentions that it's Christmas in the heart which creates Christmas in the air. Uh, I had an improvised version given to me by one of my elders at the church, and he told me it's Christ in the heart which creates Christmas in the air. So you don't need to wait for 25th December or anything of that sort. If you have Christ in the heart, it is Christmas every day for you. Whether it's a bad day, a good day, a good luck, a bad luck, none of that matters to us, because we are Christians and we are shielded by all of that. So what matters is if we have Christ in the heart. If we have Christ in our heart, I think we have the ability and the power to change and to navigate through this entire world. Uh, that's it from my end.